I'm going to play a little bit of this one, and then we're going to move over to the next one. Let me get my ass on the right side, though.
The meth thing's a joke, right? By the way,
So this is Adin Ross, oi fucking vey. We're going to see him in a little bit, too. A little bit more of this asshole. He's a fast-talking, nervous little fucking Jew who's happen to be kicked back right now, smug and rich, because, you know, that's how they do each other over. They get each other nice and rich together in their little circle jerk of oi veyness. But Sneako, he's the resident lapdog Muslim guy.
Real?
Yeah, it's real.
No, it's not.
It is. You do math too.
Dude, it's not real. It's Adderall, right?
Dude, no, it's math. You do math. You also do math. Why are you acting like that?
I don't do
People
math.
are so retarded. They don't realize that math and Adderall.
It's the same thing. I know. Yeah, I told him that actually from your stream clip. I told Steezy, I'm like, yeah, meth and Adderall.
So, bunch of stupid, stupid rapper names. Hey, I'm glad Kick kicked me off because fuck them. Actually, I wanted this to be on Kick so I can make fun of all the faggots that are on Kick, but oh well, it didn't work out like that. The Clavicular over here is talking about taking meth, because he's 19. He's a grown adult now, taking meth and doing steroids at the age of 14. That was all. And he even talks about how he didn't know what he was doing in the beginning while he's talking to Sneako. And it's like, you just told everybody that you weren't born like knowing how to do this better than anybody else. You also made mistakes. So who's to say that you're not all still making mistakes? And you are by trusting the system and it's bullshit science. It's Kabbalistic nonsense, circle jerk science that all, agrees with itself so that they can perpetuate dangerous lies on the public, like safe and effective. Or, yeah, you'll just have to be constantly injecting yourself with crap for the rest of your life now because you screwed everything up naturally. And if you don't want to get tanked and depressed or whatever else, and God knows what would happen, you're going to have to continue to inject things. And then the adverse effect of that or overdoing that injection, you have to inject something else. And then if you actually want to continue to keep muscle on you, because now you've screwed it up to where it's all about the artificial injection that's going to even keep anything on you now because you screwed up your natural shit at age 14 before you even knew what the hell you had as a potential. He didn't actually do any work yet to see what he could build on his own and what his genetic, limitations would be. And with all his own natural hormones, being able to see what he could build and accomplish on his own. No, he skipped over all that. Why do all the work when I can just inject myself with something? Well, good job, idiot. Now you're basically sterile at the moment. And you'd have to take other drugs in order to be able to have a child. What makes you think that whatever you're injecting yourself with isn't going to alter the creation that you would have with somebody else? And would that other somebody else want to have some, would they want to have some child with you, knowing all the shit that you've been putting yourself through, the meth you're taking, and all the other injections of hormones? Do you think they'd want to risk what might happen to their child having a child with you? Or are you just expecting to find a stupid one and then have, I don't know, a special needs child or a deformed one? None of this makes any sense. This kid's kind of dumb. He speaks articulately. He has a good grasp. And I'm starting with the negative so I can show you the positive. He is still 19. He needs to learn that too. Okay, he needs to understand that he's 19. The reason why I'm talking about it, I'm 46. Why am I talking about a teenager? Why is Coach Greg talking about a teenager? Because it's our obligation to teach other people not to be led astray, because he's influencing younger people, because I am a dad, and Greg's a dad and a grandfather age. It's supposed to be a whole community tribe thing. That is mankind, that is the species. We're supposed to care about each other like one giant extended family, and the wisdom that we gain, we're supposed to pass down to the youth so that they don't make the same mistakes that we may have, or that our relatives or friends we witnessed have, so that they can avoid things that make them have to start and reset their lives all over again, or slows down their pace for progress. I don't want to say progress and being a progressive are totally different things, but progressing through life. And if you have goals to achieve, you don't want to do something that ruins that goal or gives you a new set of problems you weren't expecting. So that's why it's important for us to talk about this, because right now he's not just doing this to himself, he's influencing other people in this very materialistic, superficial way that Looksmaxxing is the only thing that matters. And to a degree, that's of course true. But it's on the superficial level. If you're a bag of shit, if you are, what does Coach say? Coach Greg says he has a McLaren. He says, if I open up the door to my McLaren and it smelled like, rotting garbage in there, would you want to take a ride in it? It's like, just because it looks good on the outside, if you didn't cultivate it, and if you didn't create a personality for yourself, and if you don't have anything to offer on the inside, what good is the outside shell? So let's continue.
So he's like, what? Yeah, Big Pharma just capsulizes them.
It is. They just want to make money off of
Really
it.
what it is. Meth is just like pure mental benefit, like where Adderall is like has physical stuff.
Why are you selling me? I want to do meth now.
I want to do it too.
I'm joking.
That's the
No,
thing,
no.
I've never tried
No.
to sell anyone. I've never.
Well, I kicked the cup, so it's time to get something.
Because the thing is, meth is extremely addictive. So that's why I tell people, don't do meth. Do not do it. I just have strong willpower, so I get.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you
because
say-
you're better, right? You're smarter. The reason why he has willpower, yet he does it and continues to do it. If you do something and you continue to do it as a routine, or is that not a habit? If you do it, he says twice a week, which I'm sure he's playing it down. He has been fucked up on videos he's done before, and he's admitted to it after the fact. So it's not just for like low microdosing stimuli nonsense. No, he's taking it just like anybody else would be taking it. And then he acts, it's his ability to hide it maybe more is what he's banking on. It's like the person who's drunk, but then for some reason decides to pretend like they're not drunk all night long, or denies that they are. You see what I mean? It's like, what is the point? If you drink, people will expect you to be drunk at some point. Why are you? What's the purpose of pretending like you're not? Is that so that whatever you're doing can't be questioned because you're not drunk yet and they are? Is that the mentality? It's like, how dare you tell me to do something or correct my behavior right now? I'm not even drunk and you are. It's like projection or deflection.
Do cocaine if you want to talk to girls.
Well, yeah. I was fucked up when I said that.
See?
So, that
It
is,
was probably before you, though.
Oh, you know how it.
no, I said that yesterday.
I liked your stream with Nick. It was funny.
You liked it? Dude,
yeah.
Nick is the man. I love Nick.
It was funny to see him in that environment. You never see him.
Did you see
More casual,
Patrick
yeah.
Bet David said Shapiro canceled because
Because of Nick was on it.
Nick.
Yeah.
Man, I was talking to
So
him.
this 19-year-old is hanging out with Nick Fuentes, Sneako, this fucking gay fag, Adin. These are all kids that are super freaking rich because of the internet. And I probably sound like an idiot talking like that, but what the hell value do majority of these people bring? It's like persona? Like, what is it that they actually provide to the world? What does Sneako do besides every once in a while debate Shmuley and shout at him? Like, what the fuck does this guy or any of these people do besides kind of rub it in your face that they got easy money and that they're influencing your children and that they're not good people? And this isn't a merit thing. This isn't a nobility prize type of society that we have. It's quite the opposite. If you play ball, if you stay and you color only within the lines and you don't color outside the lines, meaning you don't say certain things or you promote things when they tell you to, and you most certainly promote other personalities in your sphere, then you will be, for the most part, left alone to your success, which is all orchestrated by the people who make content visible and those who make content invisible. It's got nothing to do with talent, nothing to do with how you say something differently than someone else, or how much time and effort you put in, or how much of your life you've devoted to it. When other people can just step right on the scene, and all of a sudden, Sneako's like, well, I've been doing this since I was 13. I'm 27 now. That's still not a very long time. And what the fuck were you doing at 13 that was such a value to society that they needed to hold you up on their shoulders and create you into a social media god and shower you with all their money? What did you do, bud? What did you do? What did this idiot do? What's this ass clown doing? This guy's making 50 grand a month just off of the people that signed up for his SKOOL Looksmaxxing class, his course.
About it, man. You know, he's 19, but
Imagine taking life advice from somebody who's 19. They haven't had life yet, but they're going to tell you how to live yours. Do you understand the ridiculousness of this?
you've been doing it for such a long time.
Reckless
and honestly,
and
me, like, I
ridiculous.
love that Nick is setting this tone where people can come out and say and do whatever the fuck they want to do. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of reminds me of just like the
I
old
don't know,
internet.
say whatever you like. I think that Joker, I know he's funny.
I'm not talking about Pub Miller. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
no, but
I
he's
said
an example
Nick.
of somebody who says whatever he wants.
No,
It's
but
it's not
he's too,
beneficial.
he's too like deep into that. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Fuentes. He does it in a positive way.
Yeah, because he's saying what he believes in and saying what he thinks is right.
And he's
you know?
been
No, he's saying it in a controlled, soft, safe way where he gets to become the fake natty. Nick Fuentes is a fake natty. When I say natty, I mean National Socialist. He's a fake natty. He's not really in it for that. He's controlled op. He's going to go only so far, and he's going to play the political, safe card because he's only supposed to be a release valve for people so that the Jews can still control you and give you the sensation that you're somehow going somewhere when you're not going anywhere at all. You're just treading water, or that your voice was heard when it's not, and that you have representation when you don't. When they want a hero, when they need a hero, we'll provide one. You get it? Fuck Nick. Paul's a weirdo too, Everybody has their issues. I've only been a minute and 42 into this. I've been yapping my mouth off the rest of the time. He says, tech support, I'm having a glitch. It obviously isn't the myth, though. So sad to hear this kid is influencing other kids. Like, no. Imagine if Daniel said on a podcast he does those drugs. He'd be arrested in 10 seconds. Clavicular obviously sold his soul to something. Yeah, exactly. He says, ooh, you make bad choices. Okay, we'll push you to the top of their algorithms. Totally not because you're a useless tool, though. A short version of the popular content. The short version of the popular content narrative pushers. Exactly. What's up, Somakoma? What's up? I didn't know you guys even knew about the bro shows. That's good. Tell everybody else on Rumble to, especially the ones over on Ballbusters, my channel, to come over here. Because we're rocking 20 followers on this side. I needed to start putting content on here. So here we are. See, all the people that I told I had another channel, I told everybody. But the ones that actually followed are the ones that actually gave a crap. You know what I mean? Like they listened and they did it. They came over here and followed because they actually honestly care. And they're not this, whatever. Some people need to be spoon fed everything, and you have to rub their feet, and it's like that's not what I'm here for. Yeah, maybe that's why I'm not making millions of dollars. But anyway, yes, those supplements are awesome. I'm glad I'm on this side of the fence doing it over here on Bros Shows. It's super important to me that everybody is healthy, especially considering a lot of people, like everybody, misses this when it comes to even coaching people when they're athletes. And I don't know if I call bodybuilding an athletic sport because it's not. The only thing you're competing on is how you flex in front of a crowd. You're not arm wrestling. You're not doing. It's not a test of strength. You're not trying to run something past somebody else. I don't know if that's a sport. You're not on ice skates up on the. Could you imagine being in a Speedo on ice skates? It might be kind of funny, but it probably looks awfully gay too. Is it a sport? I don't see a lacrosse stick in their hand. It's it's like a poison yourself for vanity, die early and potentially on stage type of activity that's typically rigged to only benefit those with high social media presence, so that the winner by default will catapult, elevate, and add exposure to those actually conducting the events. So how shitty is that? You go through all that pressure and poison to get on, and then because you don't have a social media presence, you already were not considered by the judges at the end. This just happened with Tom Platz not too long ago. He was judging. He was like the head, the what do you call it? The head judge of a contest, and he didn't like the outcome of the other judges, so he overrode them. But it was a day later, so the person who was in third went into first place. I don't know what happened to the second place guy. I guess he just maintained his place. But how do you go from first? If you're the guy who was in first, how do you go from first to third? And how do they even allow that to happen? But it's because this guy named Snizzy or Shizzy or Busy, what the fuck his name is, he had a huge social media presence. He was a Coast Guard too, like me. He was a U.S. Coast Guard. Everything is rigged. Everything. So why kill yourself over it? So anyway, the 90 essential nutrients are important because people completely overlook this. They're talking about calories, they're talking about macros, all this other bullshit, but nobody ever talks about what you actually need for your body to maintain its functions. And it's the mentality of somebody who will do steroids. That's the least of their concerns because they feel that your body is weak and inferior, and the only way that it can be optimized is to accelerate it to death by taking matters in your own hands and putting yourself in the seat of chemist because you think you're smarter than God and nature, and that this is going to be better for you because you're going to give yourself a massive boost of things without any regard to how that's going to damage and permanently affect you afterward. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Why not just... And this is based on a body that's already in deficiency. So you never knew what your real test levels would have been if you didn't already operate in a deficiency of different nutrients that would have made all of your systems function at their proper level. And then maybe due to that, you would have seen better results in everything that you did, including your weightlifting. Get the 90 essential nutrients.
Consistent about that for years, and now it's finally people are just being like, yo, what's good?
We're going to do that gaming stream.
We do. I want him to be on it too.
So you're SSB now. You're the new recruit.
Yeah, we recruited him. We jumped him in.
I don't know.
Well, let me just tell you this.
So kick Convy out, bring Clavin. Like,
yes.
Well, swap.
He introduced me to meth, and now I love him.
Did you see that Matt Walsh thing?
What Matt Walsh?
Do you know Matt Walsh?
Yeah.
No. He called me retarded yesterday. I said, okay,
retarded?
And then I said, let's debate. And he responded.
He won't do it. Yeah.
But he replied to my tweet saying, call me retarded. Like, I want to do that.
Who's Matt Walsh? What does he do?
He's Ben Shapiro's his best slave. So you know how your best slave is like Cheezer?
He's a shopping boy.
Yes. Ben Shapiro's top. I'm not even sure. His top slave is Matt Walsh, and so that's why.
Hey, what about the rabbi you're beefing with? Come on, what's his name?
Yasso.
So the Jew acts like he doesn't recognize or doesn't remember Rabbi Shmuley's name. The Jew on the couch is the one who brings it up, but then doesn't remember their name. Why is he getting him? Why is he? It's fake conversation starting.
No.
I was even with another rabbi.
You know what I'm talking about. The one when you were doing the ball drop stream, I think. You know what I'm talking about? Shmuley or something?
Oh, that fucking, yeah. That was the election last year.
He owns you.
Dude, he runs a dildo company with his daughter.
He just says he owns you. What do you mean he owns you? Maybe he was literally telling you, no, that's one of Shmuley's bitches is Sneako.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, look. I saw the tweet you said, yo, I ain't gonna lie, the Jews get a bad look. I promise you guys, I'm not bad. All right, let me be the leader. I'm one of the good ones.
You should be the prime minister of Israel.
I agree.
Kick Netanyahu out. I want him to lead Israel. He's the best Jew.
I think I would die.
You're saving their PR right now. Shmuley's making Jews look. He looks like a caricature.
Yeah.
And he dresses up like.
See, this is the assumption that Judaism is, or any supremacy religion, which is actually a cult called the Saturn cult, from 5,000 years ago, long before they ever took on the moniker of Judaism, Catholicism, or Islam, because all three of them are the same Saturn cult with different masks. This is assuming that having a supremacy religion, and what I mean by that is a belief that your God is someday going to murder everybody else and hand you over the planet, could possibly ever be able to operate within a structure of tolerance and acceptance of others on the planet. If all they're doing is chomping at the bit and waiting for your death, and then the accelerationist, the eschatological accelerationists, being the Lurian Kabbalists, aka the Frankist Zionists, they were Frankists before they were ever Zionists, come along, and the Freemasons, the whole eugenics idea through Darwin on up, through Pasteur, through the germ theory. These were all ways of sneaking in eugenics, because with the germ theory, they were able to destroy raw milk so they could weaken human bodies so that they could poison them to death by proxy, which is what Jews love to do, is to poison people. That was a Rothschild initiative. Royal jelly, which we talked about the other day on Ballbusters, another thing that they eliminated as much as they could have, and now it's expensive to get. And that's another superfood. And there is a there, as Dr. Glidden said yesterday. There is a potential there. Now, majority of things, you're going to be able to get yourself back up to an optimized level by getting your 90 essential nutrients in. The raw milk and the royal jelly and things like that will only help you even further as far as what they call terrain. Terrain is like your shield, like your force shield against stresses of life, the bullshit that they throw at you on purpose. Microplastics, whatever garbage is in the air, food, the atmosphere that they spray above, or whatever is emanating from whatever tower that could also make you ill or give you what they call flu-like symptoms. Your body only responds so many ways to something. And of course, if you incorporate all of them into one thing and call it the flu, then everything is going to quote unquote have flu-like symptoms. So whatever they decide to throw at you, if the scam they want to run is radiation, because they're going to say some foreign terrorist let off a dirty bomb, then your flu-like symptoms that you're actually getting from the tower, they're going to blame on the radiation from the dirty bomb. If they want to scam you with a fake virus fraud, well, then they're going to tell you those flu-like symptoms are because of something that you need to get vaccinated for. A vaca, a cow. And then this brings you right back to Pasteur again. This is a eugenics experiment to get rid of you so that the Jews and the Kabbalists, meaning other Europeans who are in the Freemasonry, working it together to destroy the masses of Goy or the nations.
That and owns dildos with his daughter.
Now, be honest, how bad do you think it is now, like the all-time? Is it the worst it's ever been?
No, it's been worse. You've been kicked out of 109 countries. You're still allowed.
Wait, what does that mean?
Yeah, you shouldn't be here. It's just that you need too much influence over here, including the president, who's the Silver Crown King of the Jews, and also potentially has the Dybbuk, which means the demonic evil spirit, the disembodied evil spirit of whatever was once in Rabbi Schneerson is now potentially in Trump. And the fact that they screw around with Jinn and Dybbuk, which are, like, again, disembodied evil spirits. A Dybbuk is a Divok, which is COVID backward. So what does that also tell you? I know it's a certificate of ID for vaccinations, COVID. I get that.
It's been so bad that Jews have been kicked out of 109 countries.
Yeah.
And so it's been worse. It's been worse.
Do you categorize me in that category at all?
You're like a pick-me Jew.
What does that mean?
I don't really think of it.
So I choose when it benefits me?
No, it doesn't choose it, but you're like I'm one of the good ones. Well, you are.
Yeah,
A lot of them are good. I don't want people to say that. There was a guy, good ones at the Mamdani election too. Yeah, the Torah Jews. I like them.
Yeah.
The Torah Jews. Okay, well, let's talk about the Torah for a second, because none of that makes any fucking sense. They still are waiting for everyone else to die. They just don't want to maybe potentially do it themselves by accelerationism, which is what the Zionists do. Because Lurian Kabbalah, which is the mysticism, where that means you can be completely delusional and have no regard for reality, when you go off on your mental, mystic, delusional tangents, and it's perfectly acceptable. The world has to conform to the Jewish delusion rather than live in reality. That's what mysticism really is alluding to. So if you have a different impression about how things should work, then any given Jew who goes on the run of their fucking delusions, then you're the one that's wrong. You're bringing up reality, and you're poking holes in their delusion, which makes you the anti-Semite. Do you see? Isn't that nice gaslighting? So Torah Jews, that's like saying that there wasn't anything horrifically awful about the Tanakh, which is the Torah. That again, if you understand the law of the stranger, that wasn't your book. If you're a Christian or a Catholic, that wasn't meant for you. That's them talking about how they're going, like the Ten Commandments. The law of the stranger means those are only for other Jews so that they don't tear each other apart like a bunch of piranhas. If you come walking through their territory or they come across you, you're fair game. They don't have to honor the don't rob, don't take their wife, and don't murder them. That's only between Jews. That has nothing to do with you. So it makes them chuckle every time that you associate your God with their God, or that you think that their rules are somehow moral and just. It's only for them. Everything else is built towards antagonism against everybody else on the planet. So what he just said was retarded. The only quote unquote Jew that's not going to be malicious or subversive or conniving or what's the word? Plotting to do something to you, or once given an opportunity with your back turned, do something to you, is going to be the ones that aren't religiously Jewish. Like they say it like I say I don't know, I think I'm 10%, or I think I'm slightly Lithuanian. Well, that's not the same thing as being in a belief system of a cult from 5,000 years ago where child sacrifice is great and we justify everything that we do, and we gaslight everybody else and call them anti-Semites when they challenge us. That's a whole different fucking thing. Like, you don't have to have a belief in anything in order to be one of those assholes, right? You don't have to have a belief in a god or a Yahweh, which is Saturn, which is a freaking demon. That's not the same thing as a benevolent creator. But if you just say like you're treated like an ethnicity or something like that, rather than a religion which you have loyalties to, that if you're called upon, you will do according to what they want you to do in order to further the Jewish cause. If you are one of those people just lying in wait, then you're not a good Jew. You're not a good person, because you're still waiting like a sleeper agent to harm other people for the sake of your quote unquote people. It's a cult. It's got nothing to do with ethnicity. There's different ethnicities all over the place in Judaism, and they would all consider themselves Jew. There's very Arab-looking ones. There's very, the Sephardic Iberian Peninsula types, and then there's the Khazarian, Ashkenazi, Turkish ones, and then there's the European mix of those, which is actually some of that's Khazarian, and then others, where you have the quote unquote Gothic Aryan traits that they got from us by co-mingling. They were procreating with us. It's not just as simple as saying, oh, they're this thing. They're really not. There are many things, but what they are collectively is a big Saturn cult. And regardless if they know it or not, they don't have to know or think about it consciously in order to be loyal to it. So at any given time, this guy gets a tap on his shoulder by somebody who he is intimidated by, who happens to be a Jew, and he gets the impression that as long as he does what they want, he won't be in danger, but he might have to do things that put his buddies in danger. He'd sell out everybody on the fucking couch and then 10 other people that look just like him. Guaranteed.
Yeah, but don't you think it's like almost admirable that like Jews are able to do all this shit?
See what I mean?
It's impressive. There's not that many of them, and they're not strong.
There's not that many, and that's bullshit. This is a contrived talk.
Yeah, I want to run the world.
I want to run the world. Okay, but don't do it like them. and you're 19 years old, and you just said the most retarded thing you could possibly say. Are those medical bracelets? What am I looking at? Did they just go skiing? This dude's got ace freaking gloves on. The other two are drinking a Red Bull because they're probably sponsored by Red Bull, so they have to show the cans. This guy, he's good. He's got meth and coke, so he doesn't need this Red Bull.
Hey, you know what? Let's convert you, my friend. Let's convert you.
I'm Catholic, but
Don't worry, Sneako and
Oh,
Tate
you're
fell out.
Catholic, so that makes it way better. Totally not the same cult at all. Yeah, totally not a religion founded by other Jews who decided that they were going to use the angle of the Christ thing in order to justify and hide all of their despicable actions. Right. Good job. Way to be. Awesome. And anybody who challenged you in history, like the Albigensians and the Cathars, which I believe are basically the same thing, the Albigensians and the Cathars, just fucking murder them all, burn them to death. You know. Yeah. Catholic and Christian, not exactly the same thing.
Oh, he's gonna come to Judaism. I know he is.
You can't convert. Can we talk about something wholesome? This isn't gonna go on YouTube, man. We're talking about meth and Jews. Like I just got a
meth
meth.
and Jews is
I'm not even monetized yet, bro.
you're not. Oh, fuck yeah.
man.
I mean, we could start talking about the N-word. So.
Talk to you, boss.
Can you do the Looksmaxxing review?
Looksmaxxing review?
I want to. Yeah.
I don't know.
Good to see you, Teal.
I'm not a huge fan of the haircut, I gotta be honest. I think it's a little too clean shaven.
Too bald.
Yeah, too bald.
Okay.
You are looking good though. You're lean, you know what I'm saying? So
What do you rate him 1 through 10?
6'2.5".
6'2.5", good stuff.
I could lie and say 6'3". My license says 6'3".
Lie, bro. All right,
No, I'm not a liar. I'm a straight up. Lying is because of fear.
He was a model. He was a porn star.
That's not true.
That is true.
He's just making
I
shit
saw
up.
him.
You saw his dick.
Bro, your son is gonna see you sitting on people's asses that are black for clout.
Good looking guy. Moggs, for sure. You know?
Moggs.
Do you think the Looksmaxxing shit is cringe or what?
I mean,
is that faggot Cuffham right there? It is. That's this guy's. He said that he grew up with him. He's his best friend. This other retard Cuffham. That was that guy who was talking to Paul Miller, holding his gun up, saying, "Yeah, they're gonna kill you." That's that retard right there. Why is he not in jail for flashing gun and threatening lives? Why the hell did nothing happen to that asshole? This is just a circle jerk of a bunch of freaking controlled individuals. And they don't have to even know that they are. They know that their money is coming in and they don't ask questions. But of course, they have a little handler Jew in their midst who can make sure that everybody's staying within the lines and not coloring outside of them. This kind of looks like see that I don't know what it is, but it keeps reminding me of the Cobra from G.I. Joe. The red symbol of the outline of the Cobra.
So it's important sometimes. Some people take it too far. I think the self-improvement.
Did you hear his argument about? She said that Charlie Kirk wouldn't have passed away if he was more handsome. Do you agree with that?
Right, the bullet would have deflected away from him because of his aura.
It's the same thing as the Luigi.
Facts.
No, for real, that's an argument because it's like a halo effect.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with like the Luigi guy, right? The Luigi guy was.
So the Jews wouldn't have shot him? Is that what you're saying? Charlie Kirk was like 6'5" too. He was kind of a big target. And you don't have to do anything against their cult in order to be sacrificed for their advancement. So it would, regardless of whether or not it was real or artificially orchestrated to make it look like Charlie Kirk was in opposition or questioning Israel at any given time or any particular time toward the end of his life, is irrelevant. You don't have to do anything wrong. You can still end up being king for a day. King for a day is a term that was utilized for grabbing somebody, making them king, treating them like royalty, letting them reign, and then the next day you fucking murder them. It's a sacrificial ritual that they killed their king. It's just a stand-in king, of course, but this was a Saturn cult derived activity as well, or a ritual. Or you can be like Kennedy, and they're like, "Well, don't you get the message, bro? We helped get you in, and now you're speaking out against us, and you're not giving us every goddamn thing that we say that we want, and continue to demand, and are never satisfied." So, Demona, why are you asking us about Demona? Why do you want to inspect our nuclear power plant? Why do you want to know? So they actually drafted up a fake fake walls and had an inspection, like a fake inspection of Demona, so that they could hide their nuclear weapons program. What else happened? Oh yeah, the whole thing with Northwoods and the Bay of Pigs, and the reason why they wanted Castro dead and they wanted us to be at war and were bringing us to the brink of potential nuclear war was all over the from Batista to Castro, the casino business of Lansky and other Jews that were using that money to fund Israel. It ended up drying up because Castro started imprisoning and executing and scaring out of business the casinos in Cuba. And they thought that if by getting Castro in, they would actually increase their profits, but then that didn't turn out that way. Castro had a different plan. So then they wanted to kill him, and they got us. They were so pissed off about it. They haphazardly got us into a position where they almost created a third world war over that because of their petty fucking desire to continue to create black money. You know, like black ops money for the nation state of Israel. And Castro would have none of it. Yeah, so they wanted him gone. Under Batista, they were making shit tons of money and sending it over to fund the terrorist groups that created that terrorist state.
And he killed someone. Now everyone loves him. These girls are obsessing over him.
Charlie Kirk, he does the debates. He basically says nothing. He's a
That's
norm.
not 100% true. He doesn't say nothing, but he does state things as if they are factual when they're not, or he makes what they call erroneous conclusions, and he's operating in the sphere of what is generally accepted rather than what's true. So as long as it's generally accepted, the majority of the people he's debating against won't argue that fact. The point is, the reason why the position is wrong is because the facts that people accept are not true.
At the end of the day, and
like nothing hateful you're saying.
Yeah, because he's ugly. You know what I'm saying? But if
you
were to
retarded this kid is?
Damn, it's a dead guy.
he's subhuman.
Rest in peace.
I know he's dead, but like,
RP.
RIP, but he was subhuman at the end of the day.
No, I criticize him all the time.
So he says that he was subhuman because he wasn't good looking, and this is Charlie Kirk he's talking about. How, if you had to artificially make yourself attractive through surgeries and drugs and injections, who are you to go around talking about other people being subhuman? Dude, you were fucking the worst. You weren't like naturally that way. That's like saying you were born subhuman as well. And that's not something that you can grow into through cosmetic surgeries. It's like everybody wants to be an Aryan, but they don't want to admit that that's the look that they're going for. They don't want to say that they want to be a 6'7", blonde-haired, blue-eyed, but somehow dark-skinned as well, dude with, muscles all over the place. They don't want to say that, but that's what they want. Isn't that interesting? The very people that the Jews have been driving out of existence into extinction and breeding out the rest of them is what everybody desires. That's the typical, that's the Chad. I hate those stupid. I hate terminology from stupid people. The Giga Chad thing. That makes me want to. Everything that they say, like I don't even know what the fuck. I don't want to know what mogging is, but I have an idea. It's like use fucking English. If you're supposed to be smart, kid, why don't you use the lexicon that was? The English language has plenty of words. You don't need to make up bullshit retarded words. That shows that you really are not a mature person. Because you're speaking in retard lingo. If you think you're better than people, speak better than them. Don't use their retarded words. Don't go 6'7". Don't say, I low-key this, I low-key that. Yeah, like Loki. Like Loki. Yeah, good job.
I'm not a huge Charlie Kirk guy, but like if he was good looking, his points would be received a lot better.
It's the same thing with Luigi. Luigi killed someone, like, with a real gun, and he has...
You sit like a female. You Weasley little faggot.
It's like that blonde girl who got stabbed in the train by the black guy.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
it's way
people
different.
are saying, "Thank God she's hot," because if she wasn't, people wouldn't talk about it.
It's true. I mean, lookism is like arguably one of the green things.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Lookism? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, like
Would that
judging
just be attractiveness? Lookism? What a fucking retard.
people based on their looks. You know, like
Does the meth do anything to your face? Like, does it affect you?
It leans it out, right?
Well, no. The way that it works is suppress your appetite, so you get super fucking lean off meth.
Oh, because you don't eat.
You have a hard time eating? Like you have a hard time not eating?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm always like binging.
I might get on testosterone. He's trying to put me on.
Yeah.
What's your testosterone levels?
Yeah, maybe you get a little bit of testosterone so your ankles don't curve in like this and you don't cross your legs like a female. I think it's hopeless because you have to start with something, and it's like you can't bronze a turd, Aiden.
1,000.
Yeah.
What was it
No,
before?
it was like 2200.
Or 2200. What was it before you started injecting?
Like 650. Yeah.
Which is above
That's
average.
above average, though.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably get like 3,000 tests. I want to try to.
What are you at
Well,
right now? You know?
I think like right around 750 is probably like the top of that.
400.
That's below average, I think.
Well, like when I was working out in Canada, I was like 600 something.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in not being on TRT with all like the fucking societal like.
Meth and TRT.
Dude, it's legit. Bro. That's what I'm saying.
Meth, TRT.
I mean, it's basically
How old are you?
Addy.
You're 19. No, you haven't even finished developing testosterone naturally.
Yeah. I mean,
No, you
Yeah,
haven't.
you have
It just
because you destroyed it. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I have. Yeah, you're right. You have.
it starts
fucked it up.
teetering off at 35.
yeah, but I'm not. No, it's a little younger than that. But anyway, there's no point in not being at a super physiological level of test like earlier in your life. Like I want to feel better like now. I don't want to wait until I'm fucking 35. You know.
Well, then when you are 35, you're not going to be producing testosterone naturally the same way.
It doesn't matter. I'm always going to be on.
You're just going to
testosterone.
juice the whole life.
Yeah.
Right, which means you're always dependent on the system. What kind of world do we actually live in right now? These people don't live in our existence, in our world, and in our reality. Shit's going down. Trump basically declared fucking war on people. There's a huge budget going toward shit tons of drones for domestic use. Yeah, they're not going to be delivering packages, okay? Lots of bad things are about to happen, all at the hands of people like Aiden's little buddies over there in the small hats. So, why do you want to, in a time of crisis and chaos, or like, remember COVID? Think of things like that: roadblocks, lack of, trucks bringing food to places, deliberate intended starvation, all other kinds of threats to your safety. Do you want to go running around, God forbid, just looking for insulin in a time like that because you're dependent on that? What about your test? Do you want to constantly make yourself dependent on a system where you need something from them that only they can produce? Why would you do that when you never even had to be dependent on that stuff in the first place? Get to 90 essential nutrients. Clean up your diet. Don't eat the 12 bad foods. Make sure you get cholesterol in your diet so your body can produce hormones and regenerate your goddamn brain, because 70% or more of your brain is actually made out of cholesterol. You know what else is made out of cholesterol? Lots of things. Lots of things. The myelin sheathing on your nerves is created by copper, and it's also elastin. Elastin in your stomach lining so you don't get hernias and things like that. It also elastin in your arteries so that when they pump, they don't split when they're contracting, and so you want to make sure that you get your 90 essential nutrients. The new batch of the whole food multivitamin, and guess what? Yes, Mike Garland and somebody else I think was also right. They're actually they have their second batch going right now of the whole food multivitamin in circulation. I know when Dr. Monzo told me like over 6 months ago, I think, that the new batch would have 4 milligrams of copper in it, whereas this one had like less than 1 milligram. The next batch, because that's how it works, depends on the soil and where they're sourcing the stuff. This one has more copper, more bioavailable copper, which is necessary for all that. So the new whole food multivitamin, Dr. Monzo sent me a voice message the other day, right after that show where somebody had said that. So I don't know how they learned before I did, but that was pretty good to know that that's actually the one that's in circulation right now. So this one that I have right in my hand probably had the 4 milligrams of copper in it. And that's good. That means you don't need to get the core copper. The core copper won't be back in stock until like March. And that's another good thing to have in addition, though. And when Dr. Glidden gets done with his Ayurvedic treatment, we'll see whether or not it has the revitalization effect that he is experimenting on himself to see whether or not will work. It could actually bring color back to your hair, regrow hair, all kinds of stuff. So we'll see what he has to say about that. That's not the 90 essentials. That's something completely different. But in the meantime, get your 90 essential nutrients and stay away from ideas that would have you become dependent on the system that might not always provide. And even if they do, in a world of AI and injections, and you really want to be near doctors, these people, that's the problem I have with them. I'm totally against going anywhere near a doctor's office. I believe that they are demonic presence in our midst, just like CPS, just like fucking everything else that you can think of. Police officers, these are just people that are roaming, and you want to stay underneath the radar. You don't want to take yourself or your child to a doctor's office because you don't want them knowing shit about you. That's why I handle my stuff on my own, 90 essential nutrients, and if I need something, I talk to Dr. Glidden. That's why I'm on his membership site, because I don't want to go to an MD who has no regard for nutrition and will just put me on drugs. Not caring or not knowing that that's it bleeds you into death. You can't drug your way to health. And if you ignore the deficiencies and you just suppress the symptoms, a different symptom is going to sprout out somewhere because you already suppressed your body's attempt to convey a message to you that something's not right. So then they give you another drug. And then these drugs, they work on you by stealing your nutrients in order for them to function. That's why drugs stop having an effect on you after a while. Because they've used up all your nutrients, which means they've tanked you even more. So then they give you a higher dose of those drugs. What do you think that does to you? Depletes you into the goddamn negative. I mean, you're going to be eating during this time too. So you're going to get really, really tiny amounts. And as soon as it's in, it's out again. And the people who eat sugar, they're pulling out their copper. They're pulling out all kinds of nutrients. Sugar's kind of a poison. It's a shock to the system. It requires a lot of... Why do you think you get like sugar crash? It takes a lot of energy for your body to get it the fuck out of your bloodstream. So I would recommend not worrying about what a goddamn MD says, because they don't know. They make up lies. And then they have young people like this who think they're so smart, but they are in the cult of science. They're in the cult of society. They're in the cult of allopathy. So heavily that they're into polypharmacy and injecting themselves because God is retarded and so is nature, according to these people who come from nature. God never gave you a problem that occurred and was produced in the natural world that would have required an artificial solution, an artificial defense against it. He would never have given you something. Nothing could ever be produced in this world that would require a drug in order to fix it. Homeopathics are different. A drug is completely in the wrong way to go. And if you think taking synthetic hormones is a wonderful idea, then this is again, I'm telling you, this is this cult and their dark mockery, making people infertile. The strongest and tallest and most potentially able to be strong leaders in a tribe or society, they're getting them stuck on this materialism and making them infertile so they can't have offspring. And they're killing them before they even get a chance to live. You know, they don't gain enough wisdom in their life. This is a very oy vey type of circle jerk merry-go-round, and that's why having a competition and a goal, it's just all distractions and preoccupation from the things that actually matter. Meanwhile, the world is on fire, but I'm going to worry about getting myself not even so much addicted, but dependent on everything that's supposed to happen naturally in my body to come out of a goddamn needle. And forget about fixing your nutrition and the shit that you eat, like the bad food, the 12 bad foods, which are on Dr. Glidden's site, instead of taking care of all of that, you're going to get Ozempic instead of having the nutrients that your body is craving and triggering and signaling your brain to go eat something because it needs something. Instead of just fixing that and quieting the voice naturally, you're gonna put duct tape over its mouth, and paralyze your stomach with Gila Monster synthetic venom that you inject. This is what this kid does. In addition to meth and TRT. And he is a role model for your children. Regardless if you believe it or not, or if you believe your children would be affected by him, he's an influencer. You get the impression because he's an attractive guy. He's already talking about that. He's saying, your halo effect or whatever. People will listen to you simply because you look good. Look at me. No, listen to what I say. Stay away from this guy.
My question is, what if you cold turkey stop in 5 years?
I would be fine.
Did he
I'd be 100% fine.
say cold Turk? Did he say cold Turk Builder Max? No, I'm not. I am not sponsored. I don't make any money off this. I'm just taking it, so I'm just reporting back. Good stuff so far.
No meth, no test.
I'd be fine.
Dude, you're like running on a limitless pill, literally.
Well, dude, yeah, literally.
Like, you are limitless.
Well, like, it's 2025. The science is there. That's what I always
See what I mean?
tell people.
That's what I'm talking about, the retard. That's why I always tell people, because I believe in stuff that I want to believe in. Like, if the science corroborates my desire for it to be true, then I believe it, and then I tell everybody else that they're stupid and that there's no risk involved because it makes me feel better about my stupid decisions. This is what happens when people go all in, and they will never allow themselves to go down that scary path of questioning whether or not they made a horrible error. They'll double down instead, as if somehow blocking it out of their mind and deflecting and being elusive to reality will somehow make reality not catch up with them. This is how the oy veys think, and this is how this kid thinks.
There's no reason not to. And I know there's like a lot of like fear mongering going on because like the mainstream media isn't honest, so you'd assume like big pharma isn't honest either. It's true to a degree, but like, pharmaceutical drugs are the future.
I might do it. He's convincing me.
I think wait till 35. Pace it out.
It's too old, right? What's the point?
What's the point of waiting to feel more energetic, sleep better? It doesn't make any sense,
I have thought this before.
Okay. So there's many things that you can do that aren't retarded that will allow you to sleep better, feel better. It's called cardio. It's called having the 90 essential nutrients in while you're doing exercise so that you don't have these dips in your energy. Or the shit, get the Primatene tabs to have ephedrine. You don't need to inject yourself with fucking TRT and HRT. It doesn't make any sense. And for him to constantly be advocating for it, he doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't give a shit about Sneako. He doesn't give a shit. I don't care about the guy in the middle either, but he doesn't give a shit about him. If he can convince somebody, that gives him more street cred because other influencers are now saying, and this is what this little circle jerk is about influencing other people by having this conversation where he's convincing them. So what do you think that's doing to people who are watching it, a third party and witnessing it? Well, if he's considering it, then I'm just going to go for it. Yep, and you're going to ruin your life. You're going to ruin your fucking life, and you're probably never going to be able to have children. And you might say at this point in your life, I don't care. I don't want kids. Yeah, okay. All right. You know how empty my life would be if it wasn't for my child? Do you know how empty a lot of people's lives would be? Do you know what the whole purpose in life is after a while is to protect the innocent? And if that means you have children, that means you protect them, right? So what, pray tell, why there's no more orders coming in? I got a bunch in earlier today. Now I'm God damn it. I'm gonna have to send out another email. Well, the thing is, why are you cutting options out of your life before you even know for sure? Your mind will change. You will have other ideas and want other things. What the hell is this? Yeah, fuck you bitches. Someone says unsubscribe. Yeah, fuck you. If I give you another one, just deal with it. I just don't understand why you would want to eliminate yourself. And why it's funny. These two douchebags are laughing about how dangerous this kid is. And because they're, what? They underestimate his ability to influence, or this guy is deliberately selected by the Jewish algorithm to be the type of influence on your children that ruins their lives before they even start, and then makes them depend on a system that the Jews control, and that allopathy has convinced them incorrectly, has got it all figured out, so you're going to be fine. Yeah, so long as you balance this, that, and the other thing, and the other thing. And how does that affect the rest of your system? Oh, what's that? Your organs are failing now? Your liver and your kidneys are dead? You only have X amount of what? Okay, yeah, sure. Sure thing. He said, this kid has stated, longevity is not my thing. Live fast, die young is what he said. You know what happens when you take steroids? You accelerate. It's like if you were a star, you then become a shooting star that burns out. Stars could be out there for a really long time, but when they become shooting stars, they burn out. And when you start shooting up, you become a shooting star.
Or I have like all the points you're making are things I'm like, yeah, I know, but
He's right though. What if you die in like? No, sorry, that was weird.
what the hell?
I was gonna be like, what if you die like tomorrow?
Yeah.
You better feel the way you feel. Like you,
Yeah, dude.
What are you gonna say?
He almost wasn't able to contain the Jew inside of him when he was wishing for a Muslim's death. There's just now.
Oh, till 35.
What if BB comes for you in the next 2 years, man? Come on, we gotta.
I thought your face was gonna be fat, but you're looking.
Dude, I've been off lean
For how long?
forever. I've never touched it.
Lean as coke, bro. Lean as coke.
I mean, dude,
Why
think
did
about
you-
it.
look,
Look, if I was doing lean, I might as well do testosterone. It's healthier, right?
Yeah.
You're doing like.
Let me ask you,
He's doing Aryan drugs, meth, and
what I'm saying.
steroids.
Have you ever
You're
done-
doing black people drugs.
Have you ever done Molly before?
No, never.
Do you know Hitler was giving
Yes, I've done
all his
MDMA,
soldiers
yes.
meth? You know that, right?
I heard that's a Joe Rogan talking point.
No,
I
it's
don't.
real. It's real.
That's a Joe.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a second. If they're at war and they're being bombarded by the entire fucking world, any edge that they would have or need, you know what I mean? Like, what's the point here? And then what is he trying to say? Is that a disparaging thing? Do you think that he originated with that, or do you think it was experimented on in other militaries in other countries before it ever made it there? And what did they do afterward here? What they do with like the Jacob's Ladder? The movie Jacob's Ladder is actually based off of a meth experiment that they did on soldiers in Vietnam, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. Regardless if it happened or not, this kid's is awfully confident, but he doesn't. It's like he's kind of a race traitor or a species traitor on top of everything else, and you kind of understand. Oh, that's why they picked him.
Joe Rogan talking point.
Nah,
He wants to look like an Aryan, but he wants to shit on them too.
He was, trust me.
Is that what's the proof
and he
of
killed
that?
6 million people.
No, he didn't.
Of my people.
Exactly 6
Of
million.
your people? God damn it! If only that was true. Don't people like wish that was true? Maybe they're shutting them the fuck up for an extra 80 years, and then we would be listening to them for another 80 years. Wouldn't that be nice? It'd been nice if we were a bit of hand selecting to be all like Larry Finks and freaking Rothschilds and Rockefellers that they wiped out. Wouldn't that have been great? But that wasn't what they did there. Those camps at first were utilized for one whole other thing, getting them ready to send them off to Palestine during the fucking transfer agreement. Then they had to get rounded up so that they don't screw things up during a war like they did in the first one, where they did a boycott and crippled their manufacture of the munitions war so that they would lose the war, or that they wouldn't propagandize the soldiers and destroy their morale like they did in the first war. So, yeah. And the ones that were actual subversive Bolsheviks who tried to destroy Germany from within and take it back from Hitler, yeah, it's probably summarily shot because they had to be. Because that's what happens when you have traitors trying to destroy your country. And the rest of them that were in there, that were filthy and full of fucking bugs, because that's just how they lived, like shitbags, they weren't there to be killed. They had amenities. They had a brothel. They had health care. They had a maternity ward. But when you bomb the whole entire country, and then you complain to about the Germans starving people to death, or there was no gassing, there was none of that bullshit. They were delousing their disgusting clothing as they came in. And if they were living in the places that they were at, they would have been bombed along with everybody else in Germany. So they actually saved more of them by having them in those camps, those work camps. And if they weren't pieces of shit in the first place, those measures never would have had to be taken. God, I wish it was more than 271,000. And I wish it was more deliberate than they made it. Like they did make it out to be, but it's not. None of that's true. Maybe if those numbers were real, we wouldn't have to be looking at this faggot right now because his bloodline would have been gone. But yet somehow they start the war. And which way you want to go? There's a 33 or 40, whatever year you're gonna say is the start. Because Judea declares war on Germany. That's cute. They started off with 15 million in Europe and ended up with 15 million plus. So somehow they had a net positive, which, like having given birth, during that time, there was only 15 million of them to start. That means there should have been about 8 million of them left, 8, 9. And that's not how the numbers rolled out. So bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on the whole fucking thing. All bullshit.
Yeah.
Not one less.
I heard it was 6 billion.
He says not one less, and he says I heard it was 6 billion. Yeah, if you're gonna have to pull that stupid 6 million card, and say that wrong, how do you work that into every conversation, Jew? Why does every conversation have to bring up the Holocaust? Fucking fraud, you fucking Jew.
Are you guys laughing?
No, but anyway,
It was 6 million.
They were literally giving.
Oh my god,
soldiers
you guys, are you serious?
So it's like it's an area drug.
What's the proof of that though?
Well, because
besides Joe Rogan,
what? There's a lot of documentation.
See, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about either. There's a lot of documentation. If you were specific, if you really had an intellect, you would, and if you really were a neurodivergent or whatever the fuck you call yourself when you pretend like you have autism when you don't, then you would care enough to know the details. You would have the page memorized photographically in your head. You don't have any of that shit. So you're fucking bullshitting. You heard something that sounded good, that justified you taking meth, and then you said, I'm going to repeat this like a fucking parrot because I'm an immature 19-year-old kid who wants to be taken seriously, but I don't want to do the work for it. This kid, everything he does is he cuts corners. Maybe he has it in him to be smarter, but he's not acting that way now. And he's not even verifying the shit that he says before he says it. But this is a world of nobody has accountability for anything that they say or do or claim or promise in a product or product label. None of it is accountable as long as it's harming the goy. So it doesn't matter what he says because there's not going to be any repercussions for what he says. And if it says something that you can be taken negatively against Germany or the Third Reich or the National Socialists, they're sure as hell not going to be fucking dissecting that one, putting that one under a microscope to make sure it's accurate.
Pharmaceuticals. It's well done.
And that's why Hitler was at the games, like tweaking his legs like this.
Yeah, he was a bad man.
What's the best step somebody could?
Dude, there could be so many reasons for that. I attempt to do something different and end up stuck doing the same shit again anyway. So when people get bitchy because I'm showing, Greg Doucette stuff and, I'm talking about something that doesn't always apply to the same fucking topic that I was talking about for a while, then I put it on the bro shows thing. Seems logical to surmise that behaviors are genetic propensity. Ergo, the good Jew is a non-starter, right? I've only known one who admits and agrees with our talking points, right? And I have one friend who's my probably best friend, and he happens to identify as a Russian Jew, but I mean, he's been here for longer than my family has been in America. Jews love to see goys unhealthy and die, so they're probably no, they are behind it. The whole entire materialistic thing is what they are 100% behind it. It's their drugs and it's their claims that stoke the fire and give rise to the people who, through vanity and materialistic superficial ventures, do things to harm themselves. So they're on these quests, they're on these journeys, these missions, and eventually it leads to steroids in order to compete. So the whole element of having something from which they can be judged was necessary to put pressure on people to go beyond their genetic limits and beyond natural limits in order to achieve, so that they could go on this journey in this race. And then if you add money to it with social media, this is why it's so important what I'm talking about here, because it's a big element of what's affecting your children. And it's a huge element that's affecting pretty much everybody that you're watching on social media, like from the what they call thirst traps, bitches that are trying to show off their asses on Instagram and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that are on performance enhancing drugs that are just doing OnlyFans stuff. And then there's the element that does bikini competitions and this and that and the other thing. But having social media where you are comparing yourself to others rather than comparing yourself to your best self you've seen so far, where the second one's healthy. As long as you're comparing yourself to yourself, you're not going and comparing yourself to someone else that you can't attain, or you think is natural when they're not. So then you think even worse of yourself because you're like, well, I can't look like that, and I've been doing the same thing. So this is how it affects your children too. This is huge, and this is definitely a Jewish run system, because they needed what did they create? They create the spectacle. Every event, every competition, they're gonna have their dirty, grubby little fucking hand rubber hands behind. And if it influences or encourages bad behavior in the goy, then of course they're going to be involved in it. And they're going to utilize their bullshit claims of science to help encourage along and give confidence in people to do bad things, because the science told them that it was okay, and that the science told them that there's always a counter for every injection by just inject yourself with something else and you'll balance the ship again. It's a horrible, horrible idea to be in belief of what they say and to also follow that type of lifestyle where now you're doing and having to maintain your system. I don't think a lot of people even knew that. It's not like you do steroids, then you stop and then you live your life. No, your liver might not be damaged forever because it can regrow, depending on what you've taken. And your kidneys will probably be still jacked. Your organs themselves might be enlarged, but you can't stop injecting yourself if you don't want to have horrific side effects of being completely tanked because of the lack of understanding of nutrition that doctors never come in and help you with. So you're going to freak out because you're losing all of your muscle and you're starting to turn into a female because of the reverse spring, effect of pulling that rubber band back and letting it go. Now that you're off a cycle, whatever, you're going to want to be on testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy, HRT. It's the same thing, just different acronym. But how much of that would have had to have happened if you were if you took the 90 essential nutrients and were on a good diet with cholesterol for hormone production, and you didn't eat the 12 bad foods, and you didn't have a bunch of microplastics in your body and all kinds of other stuff that suppress testosterone levels? Or if you're taking the IP6 and you're getting the other oxidative stress out of your system, out the iron and stuff like that in your tissues, so that your testosterone would also increase. How many of these measures that are done naturally could have fixed you that you'll never know about, because the system's telling you nothing about nutrition? And this is why they can't be trusted. Nothing about nutrition and everything about their drugs, which is an artificial world where they continually hijack nature and God and think that they are superior to it and that they know better than it, and they portray that idea to you that they know better than that, so that you follow suit, and then you make recommendations to others, perpetuating their lies.
Looksmaxx immediately.
Honestly, getting lean and tan, unless you're ethnic, is probably the best.
Wait. What do you mean unless you're ethnic?
Well, obviously you don't want to tan if you're ethnic. You know what I mean?
I could probably get a little more tan. I'm ethnic.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
You don't think I'm like I think I'm paler than Adin right now.
Nah, you're not.
Can't anybody who is alive be considered an ethnicity? So if you say you're ethnic, that implies that you're brown. I mean, I know that's what typically people say, but it's like that also goes to being disparaging against European white people or whatever you want to call that, because it's saying that you're devoid of any ethnicity when you have the most awesome one. Ours feeds all the other ones to make them from being gutter garbage into something that's actually, not worth discarding. And that's the reason why I think the Watcher story even was the Watcher story, because they were saying, hey, don't mingle with these fucking animals, because if you do, you're going to create abominations and they're going to be like giant fucking Jews with your DNA and your strength. Stop doing that. So we read it all wrong because we're reading it from the perspective of the Saturn cult. That these people came swooping down and took our again, and it's another victimhood thing. But who were the tall people who were up on the hill? The Hittites / the Goths. These people were the ones that were looking over the land because they were the guardians and protectors against the cults that were attacking their people. And that's where the Hawkeye and the evil and the all-seeing eye, that all originated in a positive manner, not to be like surveillance, but to let the people know that there was somebody watching over them. That got turned upside down too through the inversion of these fucking demons, these friggin' Jays.
Question: I'm a Jew. Do you think Jews have like some of the worst genetics for physical traits?
Yes. Don't even say no, because that's why they have to continue to mix with us and others in order to get something that's not a bag of shit. Otherwise, they would look like a goddamn goat.
Jews don't have great physiognomy, but like,
why not?
You're not the worst.
I'm not the worst looking Jew you've seen.
You don't have like,
who's like
because you're mixed.
3 ugliest Jews, and you guys be
Oh
honest.
man, Rabbi Shmuley.
He's
easily.
handsome.
That is an ugly fuck right there. That's a gremlin looking motherfucker.
You're being weird.
Another fuck. Or continue though. I don't interrupt.
Oh
you.
yeah, my bad.
dude, I just don't. I couldn't name like 3 Jews.
He's so fucking feminine. Why are all Jews feminine? Or they talk like Mike Israel and they make a gay reference joke when weightlifting with men every 5 seconds.
Off the top of my head.
Oh, Adam Sandler, you got me.
How can you not think of 3 Jews and you come up with Adam Sandler? Aiden, are you retarded?
Drake.
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 The black Jew? Are you serious?
Pretty ugly. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
he's not.
Drake?
Drake is handsome.
No, he's subhuman.
What does that mean?
Calling people subhuman because this is the same kid where he started screwing around in his eyebrows and his jaw and all this other shit. Have you seen pictures of him when he was younger? I've shown them to you. He's calling other people subhuman. This drives me nuts. You're born and you're a perfect specimen, right? Handsome, good looking, dark. Not like brown dark, but tannable if necessary. And you're strong. You can do things. You got a mind. You're able to do shit, right? Versus not having any of that shit and then reconstructing your face and breaking your bones and to make yourself look like somebody who's one of those people that has superior genetics, because that's what he did. And that's what he's in the process of still doing. He's going to get double jaw broken, titanium plates put in there so he can deceive better than any woman could ever deceive in her lifetime with any effort with makeup ever could. He's going to deceive the bitches back with his fake body. But how does that make you can't smash yourself up into something that looks like the perfect ideal specimen and be called that? Like, how do you do that? I have the ability to call everybody else subhuman now because I did all this surgery. If you didn't have it naturally, then you don't have the genetics. You are subhuman. You're subhuman for thinking that you needed to do that shit in the first place. Like, who are you trying to impress? Retarded females? Or is it are you trying to attract men? Are you trying to just get free shit handed to you because you're just so goddamn handsome? Well, when you tell the whole world that your handsomeness is artificial and built from fucking popsicle sticks and fucking duct tape underneath, that kind of takes away all of it, doesn't it? You didn't just grow out of your mother's womb and be like, "Rah!" and you were like He-Man. So what are you congratulating yourself for, and what are you putting other people down for? Where do you come off doing that? Calling somebody else subhuman because you sit around there now completely unconfident in your own. It's good. I do get it that somebody could be confident in who they are and still wanting to be perfected, but what point is it feminine? When you're putting makeup on, when you're plucking your eyebrows, when you're sticking needles in your eyeballs, when you're breaking your own jaw or your own legs to get a couple inches taller when you're already 6'2", at what point is it an insecurity? And then you're the one giving advice, and you're getting paid $50,000 a month right now from people who are paying $50 a month each to hear Looksmaxxing advice from a 19-year-old because he's so worldly and so wise in his age to be giving you advice on how to do the same thing. And you tell me that this isn't just put on and fed to us in this superficial era of social media and ass shots on Instagram? You really mean to tell me that this is all coincidental? Come on, man. Come on. He was a natural outcropping of this. And regardless if he believes it in his own delusion mind that he's doing something that's radical, different, he's a neurodivergent, none of that shit's true. If he was smart, he would be smart enough not to be this way. Because this is not a correct way. So it's self-delusion. It's a different type of delusion. It's more unique delusion than someone else's delusion, perhaps. But it's still a delusion. And it's still the lack of comprehension or the inability or the lack of desire to question that which doesn't challenge your beliefs. You'll challenge things or deny things or reject things that challenge your beliefs, the beliefs that you already have, but you're less likely to scrutinize and attack the things that agree with what you believe in. And that's most people's mistake, is that they're cherry picking data and they're cherry picking when to turn on their intellect and their analytical minds because they don't want to overanalyze that which agrees with their bullshit.
Subhuman.
Dude, his eyes are gigafar apart.
Bro, he's handsome. What the fuck? He's
gigafar. Could you hear the way he talks? He's not an intelligent person. Yeah, let's move a little further.
You got to do it yourself. You absolutely have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like 150 milligrams of NAD. It's like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you said this about the girls that I'm with, and it's like, if we're gonna categorize these women the same, then I think that's a conversation we need to have. Like, you know what I mean?
So
like,
now he's hanging out in Sneako's shit box in Miami. Apparently that's where this kid lives. So they came to see him basically, and Sneako just happens to have a place he rarely ever comes to, I guess, with one of his YouTube plaques on the wall over here, and whatever. So he makes himself into an ass, and I kind of stopped listening to him about here 105 into it or so because he kept on saying things that were so incorrect that I just got sick of it. So now I've shit on him enough times. I've explained what I think about him and why I think what I do and why it's correct, because it is. Now let's go over to this really bizarre, because what else would it be if Matan is involved in it?